Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
And what a couple of days we've got to look forward to here in the West. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Often Pacing. Tim Walker with you. Hopefully you've had a terrific weekend and looking forward to what's going to be a magnificent day down at Pinjarra today with the running of the Dr. Ed Dewar Golden Girls Mile and also the Regency Foods Mount Eden Sprint. Aldo Cortopassi will join us very, very shortly. He'll talk about Magnificent Storm, linking back up with him and also his role at Racing WA now, working with some of our junior drivers. It's been a pretty good time for our junior drivers over the past couple of weeks. So looking forward to catching up with him in about 15 minutes from now, but not going to waste any time. The people we want to hear from this morning are Matt Young and Oli Cownie. Oli, a very good morning to you.
Morning, Tim. I'm really looking forward to the racing today. All 8 races are really exciting, so can't wait. Yeah,
and a good chunk of them would belong here at Gloucester Park on a Friday night. Matt Young, good morning to you.
Good morning again, Tim. Ollie, everyone tuned in.
Well, we're not going to waste too much time this morning, gents. We'll get straight into what is a very busy couple of days. But before we do get to that, we need to have a look back at Friday night. So we'll get some horses to follow from a meeting that was probably just a little bit lesser quality than what we've become accustomed to on Friday nights at Gloucester Park. That is understandable, though, when you look at some of the races today. So we might get some horses to follow from you first and foremost, Matt, before we turn our attention to today.
Yeah, look, I've marked 3 down. Marbeat Sam was one of them. I thought it was a pretty good run considering the draw and the way the race was run. Got into the clear late and he just really sizzled that last little bit. So I think Marbeat Sam's the one to follow out of that race. Shalini did a few things wrong in the early stages and you talk about overall depth of races on a Friday night. This is definitely not one where we'll see a few of these back on a Friday under lights, but at the same time, I think Shalini can go nearly anywhere after that first up run and be very competitive in being able to break through. For things to go wrong when coming from back in the field and then sustain the run on the way home. I know they didn't get home overly quick, but I just thought the performance was full of merit and we're going to see a forward improvement as well from Shalini going into the next run. And the Sea Siren, I was impressed with the way this horse hit the line. Against a couple of nice ones with him. The Sea Siren was really impressive. So it's one to follow going forward. I think we'll be winning a 2-year-old race soon. So Marbeat Sam, Shalini and the Sea Siren.
All right. What about you, Ollie?
Yeah, kick things off in race 2 with a horse to follow. I thought this was a really even, interesting race, this one. And I've come up with Dat Lovely, which I thought was running on really well there at the finish and was probably a little bit unlucky not to finish closer, was held up at a crucial stage and when she did get in the clear, really hit the line quite strongly there. So I certainly think she's one to follow. It was a 30 to 55 Summer Series race, so won't be probably winning a race on a Friday, but certainly one in the country very soon for Dat Lovely, and I think her efforts prior to that have been really good as well. One of the trotters out of race 8 I was keen to follow, Line of Stars. Made a break, 3 starts ago at Pinjarra, but 2 runs since have been really quite impressive. And I think this horse is going particularly well at the moment. So the trotters races at the moment probably aren't as strong as they have been. So I think Line the Stars can win one of those very soon on a Friday. And then in race 10, behind the very impressive Cyclone Geordie, I thought Lord Titanium was a terrific effort there. Was off the pegs. And they got home in 27.3, which is obviously very sharp. And Lord Titanium was closing off really nicely there. So I think there's a race for him very soon.
All right, so there's some horses to follow from Matt and Ollie. First and foremost, Matt's 3 horses to follow at Marbeat Sam, Shalini and the Sea Siren. Ollie going with Dat Lovely, Line the Stars and Lord Titanium. So let's turn our attention to today now. I know that both of you are going to look at the feature. You've actually got one each in terms of your betting strategies for the day. But just if we can very quickly gloss over both of them, just get your impressions. So, Matt, I'll go to you firstly. The Golden Girls Mile, tricky draw for Artie by the Seaside on return, but what we saw of Penny Black last time out, she was terrific. Steno over the short trip. This is right in her wheelhouse, you would imagine. What's your overall take, Matt, to you firstly on the Golden Girls Mile?
Yeah, well, look, I think we see Steno is just going to go out and run a tremendous race today. Only going to be 30 degrees, so it's not like it's blistering heat in terms of the hotter it is, the quicker they can run. So, look, I think she could go out and go 151 and change if she really wants to, Steno. She loves the mile, and we saw that 2 starts ago with a return win. She went 152 and change at Gloucester Park. So, yeah, look, I do think she could break the track record if that's the plan that Jocelyn had, but at the same time, they're trying to win a race, so times don't really come into it too much. But, yeah, I think she'll be able to get the job done. In saying that, I do think Penny Black will run a tremendous race. I think where Steno's strength is over a mile, Penny Black is over longer trips. But I also think Penny Black's come back in unbelievable order. And it's a really good test for her, but I think she can do the work in the race and be there right at the finish. And I think there'll be a lot of people that walk away really understanding how good a horse Penny Black is today, in my opinion, even in defeat.
Okay. Now, Ollie, you're going to have one of your plays in that race, so we'll just get your take, Ollie, on the Mount Eden Sprint where Magnificent Storm is back against Minstrel.
Gee, it's a fantastic race, isn't it? It's a really good field. We saw Minstrel first up the other day, so impressive there, just dominated. After doing all the work in the race, Magnificent Storm, obviously a very classy horse and has that picket fence next to his name, but first up from a long spell, they may even look to sit on Minstrel there, I'd say. First up, get a run into him and take some prize money home. So I'm not too sure exactly how it plays out, but I'm pretty confident that Minstrel will be very, very hard to beat, and all things being equal, I think Minstrel will come out on top. There's obviously some really nice upcoming horses in the race as well. Ventura has been so impressive since joining the stable of Gary Hall Jr., so I certainly think he's one to keep an eye out for in the concluding stages. He might be flooding home there. All
right, Matt, let's get to your plays, your suggested plays for the day, and you've already forecast one on the Sports Daily on your preview, Franco Ecuador in race number 2.
Yeah, well, I think he's just a multi-builder now. You find something that you like and times it by $1.34, but yeah, $1.80 was wild about him in this race. But look, I'm going to change. I sent that through before he plunged in. So We'll go race 1, number 1, Chillin. I think there's a few ways Chillin can win this race, and I think he can get the job done. So Chillin to me in race 1, number 1. I do think Franco Ecuador will be winning race number 2. So that's just a put-in-take-out job, in my opinion. Then we go to race 7. I was happy to play Otis the Place here. I mentioned it in the preview that I thought his run on the Pinjarra Cup was absolutely outstanding. Magnificent made ground out wider on the track as well. So did Otis. He was sort of last coming up towards the turn, and he weaved through the field, and he's finished powerfully into 5th, where the race they got home in 56, 155 and change over 2,700 metres. So I think Otis is absolutely airborne, and I can see him being 3 back the pegs in this race. So that's a really good spot for him. So I think he's a place bet. And in the final event, I was happy to be with Pay Homage on an each-way basis, just at a bit of value. It's a pretty open sort of race. There's not a huge amount of depth in it, so happy to look at one at double-figure odds in that race. So race 1, number 1, Chillin. I did have race 2, Franco Ecuador in, but just have him as a multi-builder for something else. And then Otis a Place in the Mount Eden Sprint, and each way Pay Homage in the final race. So something for everyone, hopefully.
Yeah, a little bit of variation there from Matt with his plays today. Now, Ollie, you're going to race 4 for your first play of the day.
Yeah. Initially, I had Franco Ecuador marked down as one I'd be tipping out, but with the scratching of Christopher Dance now, he's come into a bit of a shorter quote, so changed plans, and I'm going to race 4, and I think this could be a race where there's plenty of speed on in the early stages. Aragon Rock has a bit of gate speed. The Beachmaster, Long Reach Bay, I think they'll all be pushing forward in the early stages, and I certainly think there could be a decent lead time in first quarter, and that could really set it up beautifully for Cordero, who's pretty well suited in a NR 66 to 80. He's a horse that's done most of his career racing in free-for-all company. So I think in this company, although it's not a weak race, I think he is quite well suited, and he certainly looks value on an each-way basis there. So I'm happy to go that way and hope there's a bit of speed on in the early stages for us.
The next of them?
The next of them comes up in race 6, one of the feature races, the Golden Girls here. I thought Nullarbor Navajo was terrific last start. She just got a pair too far back to really figure in the finish, but she was still beaten only 4.9 metres in fourth. And in this race, it looks likely she'll be able to sit on the back of Steno. And from there, I think she's a really, really good place bet. As Matt did mention on the preview this morning, he did say there is probably a little bit of a concern that she might be too close to the speed, which I certainly think is a valid point. But I think she can beat fourth, and I certainly think she can run third. But she may be not quite good enough for Penny Black and Steno, who are really, really classy mares in their own right. So I'm happy to be with Nullarbor Navajo. Maybe we have a very, very small bet to place. So one by 9 or something like that.
Yep.
Happy to play it that way. And then in the last, I was happy to be with Control Queen. I thought she was really good last start, first up from a spell. Did a few things wrong there, as she often does, but she was still right in the finish in the concluding stages, and this race doesn't look a lot tougher, and I think she'll roll straight to the front in the early stages, and from there she'll take plenty of beating. Codename Elliot, one of the dangers, has been scratched, so she is a little bit shorter, but I do think the $2 quote now is still decent value. The one at odds I'd certainly be entertaining is Pay Homage, which Matt also flagged on the preview this morning. I thought Pay Homage was really sharp in a recent trial, and a similar effort to that one behind Franco Sheriff would certainly see him in the finish in this race, and that $15 quote does just look a bit too big at the moment, I think.
All right, so Control Queen there in the lucky last. Hard to beat for Ollie. Also with Nullarbor Navajo and Cordero. Matt, Franco Ecuador today is the one that you can multi-up. Race 1, number 1 there as well. Chillin, Otis the Place, Pay Homage there each way in the last. A way to look at today. Okay, so we turn our attention then to Gloucester Park tomorrow, and we've got a good card of racing to look forward to here. 9 events on the program, so good to see some bigger numbers there tomorrow night. Matt, lead us off.
Yeah, look, we'll go middle of the program, races 5 and 6. Race 5, it's always terrifying to get too keen about these with no markets in place, but I do think EJY will run a really good race in race number 5. So I think there's 2 ways you can play this race. EJY, for mine, I think can lead and win the event. I think she's got the speed to be able to hold runners to the outside. There could be a little bit of pressure in the race, but she's been hitting the line so well in recent runs. I think that she gets a really good opportunity. So race 5, number 1, I think is most likely going to be a straight-out prospect. I do like the way that Follow My Stride's racing, so that's sort of the other play if the one's too short in the race. Definitely should run into the money. Nice run on Friday night against Metro Mares Company, and this is the perfect draw. Should be leaders back, and I think Follow My Stride can be very dangerous. So play the 1 and 10 in race number 5, and in race number 6, I thought Trip Trip Bang Bang could cross these. Lucien's not known for brilliant gate speed. Roger James likewise, and I think Trip Trip Bang Bang's got good gate speed. Had a crack for the front last start, was unsuccessful. Got a little bit keen in the run, as he can, and then still hit the line okay. Ran out of a little bit of room late. So I think he could charge across, get to the top here, and he'll be really hard to beat. Trip Trip Bang Bang in race 6, number 3, and race 5, depending on prices, 1 EJY straight out or the 10 Follow My Stride each way. I think one of those 2 will win the race.
Okay, what have you got for us, Ollie?
In race 4, I thought this was a really good race. We'll get to see the classy Just Call Me Mickey going around again. It looks a horse with a really big future, but I think the horse in this race that could be a bit of value on the place line is Master Leighton. He's got very good gate speed, and I think he can be the horse that's handing over to Just Call Me Mickey there. And if he does that, I think he can definitely run second or third in the race. I thought he was a sound last start. He worked off the gate, didn't find the pegs, and he just seems to be a different horse when he finds the rail. Master Leighton. So I think he can do that this time, end up leaders back, and from there he'll be really hard to beat for the placing. So happy to play that way. I'd probably want a bit better than even money, but if we get that price, happy to play there. And then on to the last race on the card. The Trot looks like a bit of a tricky race, but I'm happy to have something small on till the sun sets. So I think this is a horse that just does much better racing at Gloucester Park. Certainly will need to after getting beat 60 metres last start, but from the stand, only off 10 metres there, looks pretty well suited. So I think if this horse can bounce to the front, could run a really big race at odds and could potentially be a really solid place bet there. So happy to play that way.
All right, so race 4, number 1, a good place bet, and race 9, number 2, a good place bet for Ollie. Matt, just keep an eye on race 5, the 1 and the 10, and how you look to play that race. 6-3 as well, his other play. All right, Ollie, enjoy today's racing. Looking forward to catching up with you again next week to tidy it all up.
Thanks, Tim. Looking forward to it.
And Matt, you'll be there for the Racing WA Harness X page today. Full coverage in time for the first, which is just after 1 o'clock.
Absolutely. All the best.
On Tab Radio, Racing and Sport, this is Often Pacing.
Great to have your company on this Monday morning, wherever you might be listening in, ahead of a big day down there at Pinjarra today. Great to have our next guest on the program, of course, doing some driving himself, which we'll have to talk about today. He's got some key drives at Pinjarra, and also the harness driver mentor at Racing WA in Aldo Cortopassi. Aldo, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Tim.
Great to have you on the program. We might start with the junior drivers if we can. You passed on some numbers for the month of February, and some of the numbers that our junior drivers have been putting out been very impressive in the wins department, that is. How are you enjoying the role?
Yeah, no, really enjoying the role, and really feeding off the kids' energy a fair bit, and probably giving me a little bit of a new lease of life on the industry, really. And these kids are all great kids, and they're all hungry to learn, which is great, and they make my job very easy.
Just in terms of the quality of driver, you talk about the quality of people that they are there, and the fact that they're giving you a new lease on life, and the quality of driver. Clearly the numbers, more than 25 winners for the month between our junior drivers last month, that is. You must be absolutely wrapped with what they're doing on the track as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely wrapped in. Like, they're just, a couple of them I pulled aside and challenged, and to their credit, they really grabbed the bit and responded to the challenges I gave them, and now they're starting to reap the rewards. But all of them, even the fresh ones, are really doing really well, and I just couldn't be happy with the way they're presenting themselves and the way they're conducting themselves out on the racetrack. And they're grabbing the opportunities that are coming for them under the new handicapping system, which is, like I said to them, if you guys don't make serious money under the new system, then you're not really trying. And all their ears pricked up, and they sort of see a good paycheck at the end of the week, so they've really all switched on. And like I said, they're all sponges for knowledge, and it's really good. Like I've always said to them, I said, I'll never criticise you. The only thing I'll do is give you constructive criticism, and they've all been great.
How does that look like when you say you go and challenge a few of them? What does that look like? What does it entail from your perspective? Is it a fairly robust conversation? Are they the type of drivers that take on feedback well?
Well, I'm pretty simple, mate. I give it to them straight between the eyes.
Yep.
Probably like any good coach, you sort of got to challenge people every now and again. And the couple I challenged, they're more of the senior juniors, and pulled them aside and said that I believe they're underachieving and they can do a lot better. And I set them a few challenges, and to their credit, they really sort of pulled their heads in and started doing their form better and sort of driving a lot smarter. And they're starting to reap the rewards now. Just,
again, it's a very small sample size with this group that I've had out of working alongside them on Friday nights and interviewing, and the way that they present themselves. You touched on that earlier, the way that they present themselves to the punters out there via media, or whether it's via a post-race interview, whatever it might be, the way that they engage with trainers. How big of a part is that now for a young driver coming through and actually using that as an opportunity to promote themselves?
Oh, it's critical. And, you know yourself, we had a seminar and
Yep.
you had yourself down there and, you know, we spoke about the importance of how to talk to the media, how to talk to owners and trainers, how to present themselves and the way they dress and conduct themselves while they're at a race meeting. It's, you know, when they walk on course, they're walking onto a job site. They're going to work,
Yep.
and they've got to be professional and conduct themselves in a professional manner. And like I said, to all their credits, you know, they've all done everything that we've asked for them, and they're doing really well.
Absolutely, and it's good to see them getting some results out on the track as well. For yourself, the opportunity to spin around with your old mate is how you put it to me last week. Magnificent Storm. Are you looking forward to the opportunity to be back with him today?
Yeah, you know, it's always nice to get on a good horse again, and you know, he's been a very good horse to me, and Ray was always been a really good trainer to me. So when he asked, I answered his call, and like I said to him, I was happy to help out a mate. So, and be good to give the old boy a pat and have a steer around on him again.
Watching his trial the other week, what did you make of it, and your eye knowing this horse so very well?
Knowing him, I know he'd only be doing what he had to do.
Yep.
And with each run, he'll get better and better. And whatever he does today, I'm sure he'll better off for that as well. So knowing the horse, I just know the longer he goes into a campaign, the bigger and stronger he'll.
He knows Minstrel well as well, and this goes back to the Golden Nugget days, of course, where they were running 1-2, and there's been some cracking battles in free-for-all since then. What you've seen of Minstrel over the past, let's say, 18 months, back to the Pacing Cup, probably of 2023, how impressed have you been by what he's been able to do?
Oh, look, I think he's running into the Minion. Really impressed me out of all of his runs. I just think he's gone to another level, the horse. Clearly, he's pacing better now, and he's just become the complete racehorse now. And you know, him and Storm had a lot of great battles early days, and I think they'll continue to have a lot of great battles on going forward. So, yeah, look, I think he's a fantastic horse, and he's definitely a great horse, and he's hard to beat it on any day. And you know, there'll be a good fight out between both of them, I feel.
Could he stretch the neck of Minstrel today, Magnificent Storm?
Oh, on his ability, yes, for sure. Yep. To be honest, I don't even know where he's really at the moment. Yep. I haven't spoken to Ray in regards to that, and but knowing Ray, he's had him fairly forward. He doesn't start horses unless they're pretty well screwed down. So, yeah, I think it'd be pretty well forward today, and probably the short trip probably comes into Storm's favour a little bit, and the barrier draw advantage as well. But in saying that, Minstrel's no easy beat at the best of times.
Yep. Do you try and maintain that draw advantage? That's key?
Oh, well, I'm sure he'd be finding a forward spot from there.
Yep.
But like I said, I haven't spoken to Ray to sort of even know what our plans would be for him today, or what his plans are going forward. And, yeah, I'll just enjoy the moment and catch up with an old mate.
Yep.
And it's just nice to go around in a good race again.
Yeah, and let's hope that it's a really high-quality spectacle down there at Pinjarra today. Of course, it'll be a good one for the team to win as well. Regency Foods on board sponsoring that, and you've got a nice way to start the day as well, obviously, in Vanderbilt, who is narrowly holding the call with Tab Touch at the moment, the $2.30 favourite in the opener. So you drove him to win at Northam 2 starts ago. What type of a field did Vanderbilt give you on that occasion?
Yeah, I was actually really impressed with the horse. Big, gangly horse, but it's got a lot of high speed. And I thought he was probably a bit more dour than he was fast, but he actually surprised me just how quick he is. So, yeah, I think going into today's race, going in quite confident that he'll run a cracking race.
And clearly that one directly in front of you, the one to beat, Chillin, that's obvious.
Yeah, Chillin's a great front-running type of horse. And Michael's team's going really well at the moment. So, you know, they're all on song. So it's, going to be a bit of a task to get over him. But Pinjarra, we've got the sprint lane and that. So we'll get a crack at him at some stage. and hopefully we can get over him.
All right. Well, good luck today, and let's hope for Magnificent Storm's sake that it's a good outing, and it's good to see him back. Good to see you back with him, and hopefully it can be a good day out down there. And also for the junior drivers, hopefully the success keeps rolling through for them. And good to be able to speak to you this morning, Aldo. All the very best.
My pleasure, Tim. Thanks very much.
Aldo Cortopassi, the harness driving mentor at Racing WA, with us on the program, and also got a couple of drives himself today, headlined by Magnificent Storm. What a day it's going to be down there at Pinjarra. Good luck to everyone down there at the Pinjarra Paceway, and hopefully there's some serious times that are run between the two races, of course, Steno in the Golden Girls Mile and then the Mount Eden Sprint as well. We're going to take a very short break here on Tab Radio. On the other side, we'll have previews for our East Coast meetings today. We've got a couple of previews to play for you. Taree will be the first of them, and then we will get stuck into race day on the other side of that, with thoroughbred racing coming our way from not only Taree but Bow Desert as well. And that harness racing meeting at Pinjarra, 1:05, it gets underway. Matty McDermott will be along with a preview just prior to that. So plenty of action coming your way today on Tab Radio. Quick break. Thanks for your company this morning on Off and Pacing. We'll catch up with you again very soon.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.